my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Oh, my baby, you are the one. Hold you close, watch you grow under the sun. Oh, my sweetness, ancient love is new. In your eyes, in your smile, everything you do. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit.
Oh, hello, friends. Friends who are watching this probably on replay. This is the second Mary Magdalene feast day. I decided to run two this year to honor our sisters and brothers in the States who often do make their way to my circles and my work. So far, I'm the only person online, and that's okay. I had a sense that that might be true today, and that notwithstanding, I have sensed that actually this is a perfect time and space to do something maybe a little bit different. That said, it's still possible that someone might join us, and so we stay open to that as a possibility. But for now, I really feel like we spoke a lot last night about Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary and the connection between the two, because often and inextricably they get connected. You know, on one hand, the Virgin Mother, she who, you know, inspirationally becomes pregnant and has a baby without sex, and Mother Mary Magdalene, who's the sacred whore, the prostitute, you know, she who sells her body for money so that she can survive. And so she enters Yeshua's life. So the Bible says, as this prostitute who is remitting her sins, is asking for forgiveness. And as I land on that, I want to express some of the feelings I'm having about that, how sad I feel that that's the conversation that the church offered around this particular paradigm, that somehow having sex for money is bad without recognizing that it's actually a symptom of a much bigger conversation of a society that does not provide appropriately for women. And as I land on that, I'm aware of some of my own dialogues as a woman in reference to money and in reference to how I need to perhaps prostitute myself for money. Prostitution not necessarily meaning sex, but doing something that I don't particularly want to do, but I need the money for my basic survival needs. And I realize that as I start talking about this, if you are listening to this on a replay, this idea may bring up some sensory feelings. You might feel a bit of congestion or tension in your body around that. I'm going to invite you to do the somatic thing, which is if you notice tension, please don't numb out to it and ignore it, but let yourself gently, softly respect the tension as representing something possibly meaningful that might need a little bit of time and space for you to understand it better. But in this moment, obviously, you probably aren't going to get to the roots of it. So take breaths, breathe with me. In fact, now, if you're watching this, let's just take a few breaths together just to land a little bit more fully into this conversation, whatever it is that moves with us, with spirit alongside and rose. So take a few breaths in through the nose And when you're ready, exhaling. All the way to the bottom, inhaling. All the way to the bottom, inhaling. And then notice how you're feeling now. Maybe a bit more open, maybe tired. Sometimes properly breathing actually brings to your mind the feelings that you're burying. It's quite common these days to feel tired. Don't be afraid to feel tired. And Spirit's reminding me if we don't gift ourselves with the opportunities to feel our tiredness, we end up in cycles and loops that dysregulate us. So it's better to be with what is here and to be back with breath when you're feeling tension. We can and will work with you further on the other stuff, the deepening and the awareness through the rose work and the one-on-one work that I do. But for now, honor you, whatever this shows up for you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's fine too. If you're still curious to stay listening, please do. As I said, as a spirit medium, these conversations aren't me here in isolation alone. I have Rose with me, so just acknowledging Rose. There's two of them. But this one, I was told when I bought it, represents Mother Mary, and this one is Mary Magdalene. And I want to show you her. Mary Magdalene, you'll see that she's two-colored. Red is a very sacred conversation in, priestess language. And you'll find this even if you journey to Glastonbury to the Chalice Well gardens, which I do recommend you do, particularly if you are a woo man, if you do identify as a woo man, being born from one, not just in possession of one, but this particular color, the red, is sacred for the earth and for blood. The white, on the other hand, is often associated in some traditions as the masculine or spirit, otherwise known as, sperm, the delivery of sperm into womb. The two colors is important because often the pink hues of rose are associated with unconditional love. And when they're a darker form of pink, like the lighter form of pink is often associated with youthful girls, sometimes grandmothers and mothers, but these are in traditions where we see mothers and grandmothers as only soft and sensitive and not the full lioness energy that they are. The darker rich magenta, the darker pink talks about a mature love, one that's not going to bypass reality by quickly labeling something and making the label the end of the conversation. Labels in themselves, it's important to name things, but once you name things, it's also important to remember that between the label and you is the reality that you live that has nuance, that is unique to you, that also has breath needs. So sometimes you need to slow down and pause. And so as I get back to Mary Magdalene, she's a much well represented figure currently in the rising sacred feminine for a reason. More of us are aware of her, more of us are dialoguing with her, more of us are interested in what she represents. And that is because in a fashion, she represents the conversation. I often term it the witchcraft past, because she's the conversation of a woman who was very rich and very wealthy and very wise. The belief is that she was an initiate of the Priestesses of Isis, so she was a priestess of Isis. She held blood magic, sex magic, awareness of what to do with blood and semen and how to weave this into magic, how to create things from these life forces that actually weren't the Immaculate Conception, where we needed a god, a man in the sky, to come and impregnate a woman who's never had sex before. but conversely actually knows how to weave magically with love intact, with body mind represented, and with spirit available. And as I land on spirit available, we lean into the Mary Magdalenes because, in a fashion, she represents the fallen woman, sure, but the woman who has been judged and misrepresented by the Christian traditions. And that is the witchcraft conversation. That is also the conversation that many of us have beautiful ideas and a wealth of wisdom and emotions and feelings and things that are valuable to contribute to relationships that are easily bypassed through intellectualized, rationalized ideas of what women are supposed to be. And none of them serve us because none of them are true, not fully, all the way through. Just like Mary Magdalene may have woven through sex magic, a prostitute is a label that you can use to say somewhat the same thing. And it is true, as I'm being reminded, what I've learned through the journeying that I've done with the Magdalene. It's 11:11 as I speak to this. As I've journeyed with the Magdalene, the priestesses of Isis were sex magicians, they were sex witches, they knew how to work with life force because that's what sex is. Sex talks about life force, the ability to create a child, the ability to give birth to a next generation. This is so important. Our whole species survives because of this idea. We're talking about absolute fundamental health, well-being, relationships, and relationality, where I see myself in space and time and how I fit. Where is my belonging? All of these conversations talk not about the sex that we've been told is what sex is, but it's how to relate in a loving, compassionate, caring way that honors the life force in someone else, the intelligence that they represent, and the voice that moves through them. We need to create spaces for individuals to have time to be seen, heard, and held as valuable. And I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of men and women who need this now, who are yearning so badly for this now. And so the priestesses of Isis, they created temples with safe spaces, spaces to see, hear, and hold, to love and to know you, to know themselves, and to journey together in a sacred, held container. The outside world was always going to be tough. If you look at how we evolved as a species, there was a time when we were much closer to our primate brethren. And, you know, we evolved. We evolved from there to become more rich and wise and wealthy and able to navigate time differently. When I land on time, the belief of the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and the way we cultivate our energetics to fit these contrived ideas of living and life denies the sacred feminine rising. It denies the fluxes and changes of the seasons. It denies the womb wisdom that has us in a bleeding cycle monthly, or even using the term monthly in itself is probably erroneous because it's closer to a lunar cycle. You'll always have your own voice and your own rationality behind that. How you move in space and time is a responsibility that you own. And Spirit is reminding me, I was reading something earlier today on Facebook, because sometimes I go there, obviously I do. You might have found me through Facebook. But there they were talking about how the Magdalene, Mary Magdalene, is the feminine form of Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness is important. It is the masculine aspect of us that needs to know that in order to be in ownership of itself, it needs to understand the power of decision making and how potent making decisions are. It needs to understand that it is a decision to continue forwards with things not being okay and doing nothing about it. Now, that doesn't mean that you have time, energy, and resource to fix it immediately. Sometimes we need the priestesses of Isis, a space to be held, to be honored in our journey, and to know that we're safe and well in that moment for a piece of time. We need this because it drops us back into a safe rest and digest response that is a part of a healthy human. We're not designed to be in this adrenal system, into productivity. We're not designed. We've never been designed that way. And yet, the pressure to be that all the time is enormous. And I'm being reminded that that sometimes comes as a part of being a mother. And as I say that, I feel Mary wants to say that the way that we're parenting at the moment is changing, thank God. We're getting wiser about how to parent healthily. That doesn't mean, though, that children need as much as they're given. And it also doesn't mean that you're a bad parent if you don't have all the answers or all the money, or you can't give your child everything you think they need. In a fashion, needs are negotiable. In a fashion, when children are young, to be honest, they need contact with mum. They need steady contact with mum. And that doesn't mean that you stop all of your activities to be with child. Baby can come with you. And I know that that's not always true in some spaces, but there are spaces being created now by wise women. Thank God the wise woman is starting to appear in life. She is here in the Northern Rivers. I've seen them. They are still doing the things that they're trying to do because we're all trying to do the things, right? But they're also here loving. They're also here listening differently, and they're within reason of their own resources starting to slowly, gracefully make the change happen. Now, Mary's reminding me our job here is not to give you all the answers. This is a part of the Christ consciousness, the Sophia consciousness, the feminine landscape. She, in her magic, knows more than she is embodying. And this is why we do spiritual practices. This is why we do journeys with our ancestors, with our little girl and boy selves. We do these things because it's important and because you're worthy of them. We may not have the temples of the priestesses of Isis. We may not have the magic that they held in this moment because the land has changed since then. The land has changed. It is not communicating with us in the same way, but it is slowly, gracefully becoming more awake and more available for us to commune with. If you're curious about that and you want to be a part of the change, I'm going to ask you, please check out some of my work. There's a reason why I made it in the first place. And I've taken great pains to make it without a lot of resources because that's just what happened, you know. Not all of us have heaps of money or the skill set to be able to do big, glamorous, social media posts and, have all of the things. And ultimately, to be honest, I don't want to be spending all of my energy doing that. I'd much rather be here with you. I'd much rather be here where your wounds are welcome. Your conversation is rich and it has a purpose. And so I invite you to sit with me, sit with Mary, sit with Rose, to inspire your own awakening or a deepening of your technology, to embrace the wild man and woman that you are. We are not alone in this journey. We're all trying hard to fix a broken system. Spirit is saying the best fix is to come first home to you, so that you know where you lay, so that your energy learns to recharge and reset when things are stressful, so that you can find that resource inside of you and move forwards with grace, but also sensitivity intact. Because we're just like the bigwigs in big buildings killing the planet if we're going to numb out to our sensory feelings. And nobody wants that. We don't want that for you. So I feel like for now we're done. This is our message from Mary. I feel like she's yeah, let's do this actually. If you like to stay on for a little while, of course, you can always stop this at any time. This is your choice, but I feel like Mary wants to offer you a blessing. So if you'd like to just sit there and breathe and just stay with your heart, stay with your heart. You can close your eyes if you like and let yourself receive. Intend to receive that which is loving, that which is worthy, that which is nourishing for you. As we welcome you here today, here as our sisters and brothers, we welcome you and your rites of passage as you move through life. The change is necessary. The change is what we're here to evolve through. You are welcome with your feelings intact, with your mind awake, and with your womb wisdom emerging. We love you with all of our hearts. We are not unable to be accessed by you. We would like to be in contact with you. For you, though, it is important that you understand how time and space can warp your thinking. When you fixate on a future not yet told, you become one with a consciousness that wishes you anxiety. When you forget yourself and your right to be here, you forget that life is not supposed to be a walk in the park, but it is supposed to come to you as you walk through your life. So walk, darling, dear one. Walk with your feet on the ground and your head held high and your heart inside your body. Allow your love to merge with your wisdom so that you can find a voice that speaks truthfully, lovingly, and with elegance and grace that you were born with. You do not need to learn. If you are tired, forgive yourself for trying so hard to fix problems. Let yourself be. You are worthy of attention, of time, and of promises kept. We love you with all our heart. We are speaking to the Magdalene. Those of us who are here wish you well, wish you love, wish you fortitude. May the spirit of life guide you in and through your system, awake and aware, transparent and real. May the love that you seek find you, and may you remember that your heart is golden. Thank you. So wishing you well, my friend. Thank you for making it to the end of this transmission. I hope to see you soon. Please reach out if you've got comments or questions. Let's see how we can support you better. All my love. Until next time. See you, friends. Oh, yeah, I'm Dana, Dana Spirit Butterfly. On Bunjil land. Usually I say that up front. Peace to you.